Hello, and welcome to Badaboom. I'm Troy. On today's episode, we talk with Rob Guillory and John Layman, the creative team behind the comic book Chew. They're back with a new book, Ghost Brawler, a story of a boxer who briefly dies and comes back to life with the ability to see and fight ghosts. We talk about the inspiration behind this book and the exciting exclusives they're setting up through Kickstarter. Listen in, and bada boom. Rob, John, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Like, I know you guys are about to launch a Kickstarter in May, and it's for a book that has a ghost, a boxer in it, and I feel like ghosts are making a big comeback the last couple years or so. So, tell us about your guys' book, Ghost Brawler. Like, what inspired you guys to write this book? What's it about?
So it's a boxer who gets killed in the ring briefly and resuscitated, and he comes back not only able to see ghosts, but he can physically interact with them. So he ends up starting a business where he goes to haunted houses and just beats the crap out of ghosts to get them to leave the haunted houses.
That sounds like it's going to be a crazy fun adventure, and like I know you guys with your previous book Chew had some crazy things happening in that book too, and I kind of started to imagine what would happen in this book, and I was like, it's going to be probably a little bit off the wall and a little bit fun and goofy at the same time too. So
yeah, we're definitely going for the I think Rob and I have got after Chew, we're like, we don't want to be just the Chew guys. We want to do different things. But now it's been 10 years and all right, you like Chew, you'll like this. We're going for the same kind of tone, same kind of, we want to give the fans who aren't getting more Chew, something new. That being said, we are serializing Chew in Comics the Magazine and doing a one-pager every month. And that kind of started the ball rolling, and we're like, shit, we should do something bigger. Let's do a book.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Comics the Magazine has been doing great so far, so it's great to see that you guys are getting in on that action and bringing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great looking package, and I think it's been long enough. I think it was kind of cool to hate Wizard for a while, but also everyone misses Wizard. Everyone. It's been long enough that you can admit that Wizard was cool. Even when you were complaining about it, it was nice to have a book like that out there, and I think Comics the Magazine is filling that hole.
Yeah, I mean, oh, I don't mean to top over you, Rob.
I got a lot of flies around
this
here.
One right here, just in case it came up. But
yeah, it's definitely filling a big gap, man. I mean, that was one of the things I still can't believe I was able to talk John into being a part of it. I think I just kind of threw it out there on a whim, like, hey, you want to maybe do a Chew thing? And he was all in, and it kind of led to everything else with Ghost Brawler and everything. And
yeah, but I also thought it was going to be smaller, and they made such a big deal. I got guilted into oh, we got to actually I got to write a story. We got to make this happen, and it's been pretty fun, I got to say.
Yeah.
But what was the inspiration behind writing Ghost Brawler? Because
I had a few. I had been obsessed for the last year with a person who physically interacted with ghosts, and I had a lot of different iterations of it, and it just kind of it. Once I hit the boxing element, and there's there's a lot of I'm regurgitating pop culture. There's a lot of, Rocky movies and, Creed and Digstown and all, name your favorite boxing movie. And there's a lot of classics, but it's also got a strong, Sopranos vibe and, Scorsese, there's a lot of Italian from the neighborhood. And, there's a good, mob organized crime element to it. So I'm just kind of mixing kind of my favorite stuff.
Yeah. And tonally, I mean, I think it's kind of, it's weird. I mean, this is the second book me and Layman have done together, and every time I get a pitch from John, it's hard to imagine what it's gonna be.
You're saying I don't sell myself very well, right, Rob?
Yeah. Oh no, you're horrible at it. But usually going between the pitch to the actual first script, they're very different. So whenever I got the pitch for Chew, I didn't know what the hell it was. I was like, I don't know what this is. And then you read the first issue, it's like, oh, okay, I get what this is. And with Ghost Brawler, it was kind of the same thing, where I got the pitch. I thought, this sounds cool. I don't know what to expect. And then I get the first issue, and it's not at all what I was expecting. It's like John said, I think definitely got a lot for the Chew fans, but it's, we're different creators now. I mean, it's been 10 years. So I think we're older and a bit wiser. So I think the book itself feels a lot more grounded, and sweet in a way that I think Chew had its sweet moments, but this thing is really kind of surprisingly sweet for what it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm writing the Chew characters in Chew for the most part were kind of jerks, most of them, including the lead. And like this is a good guy. This is Raylan Givens from Justified, like just a straight out like guy doing the right thing. Say if it's saving a puppy, if it's clearing a haunted house, helping an old woman across the street. It's a guy with a good heart. And I think post COVID I needed to do something just kind of just nicer because the world's so kind of crummy right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think we're kind of seeing the pendulum swing a little bit more in the opposite direction where, it was just kind of cool to hate on stuff for a while and to be like, oh man, we want all that dark stuff. We want like our superheroes to, be borderline evil and then kind of be okay with being borderline evil. And now in the last couple of years, we've seen more and more like movies and comic books be like, it's a good thing and a cool thing to like be nice. And
I mean that's Superman right there. I mean Superman was like the pendulum swinging from Watchmen and even Nolan's Batman. It was just real refreshing to like here's a good guy and you can have a good time and feel good when you walk out of the theater.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, even when Chew came out, it was coming in a really kind of a dark time. Like it was, all the books were really, really serious and kind of dark and edgy. Like I think Marvel was doing a bunch of like Dark Reign and a bunch of like superheroes were dark and gritty. And then we came out with this really like silly like comedy book. And I think people were ready for it. So maybe they're ready for it again.
Yeah, and I think like, the contrast, even if you're dark or if you're doing stuff that has like really good like touchy feely moments, you still need books out there that are like, hey, this is a fun silly book that lets you take a break. And if it's going a little bit more towards like, oh, these guys are kind of jerks and that kind of stuff, maybe like how Chew was, more like this one's like, hey, this guy's silly and he's gonna punch ghosts and stuff and it's gonna be funny, but you're still gonna have like a fun time with it. I think is something that a lot of things we kind of maybe don't see too much anymore, but we're starting to see a lot more of it. And I think a lot more people are drawn to those things more than they want to be, or they, again, we're kind of getting over the fact of like it's cool to like good stuff and to like fun stuff, and it doesn't need to be dark to be good. So I'm excited for what's going to happen in Ghost Brawler. Are there any like hints you guys can give to like some of the adventures we're going to see John, the main character, get up to?
Like Chew, I'm a huge believer in not done in one, but like if you're paying your $3.99 a month, I don't want you to feel like every like Chew told a bigger story, but every issue gave you that bang for your buck, gave you a story with a beginning, middle, and end, even if it was part of a thing. And we're doing the same thing here. Like, because floppy readers pay the rent. I don't care how you read, whether you're reading, digitally or you trade weight or whatever, eventually you're putting money in my pocket and reading the book, or, even if you're buying it from the library or even if you're not giving me money, I'm grateful you're reading it. But I want floppy readers to want to come back every month. So, we're giving you a case every, or, an adventure every issue. And, sometimes he's killing ghosts. Sometimes he's, sometimes he's helping a good ghost. Sometimes he's in deep with the mob. He's basically Peter Parker. He's as a washed up boxer. This guy has a good heart, but he makes a lot of stupid decisions, or he has in the past. And he's one of these guys who can't catch a break. The mob is, hey, where's my money? So he's got to do what he can to survive and not get his fingers cut off or dumped off a pier.
Yeah, some high stakes are kind of mixed in with some of the fun silliness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. The good thing about working with Rob and on Chew was very Chew could have a very serious issue. It could have a completely absurd issue. It could have a lot of character-based humor. And, we're going to do the same thing. Like, you don't know what you're going to get from issue to issue, other than entertained.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And how's it been, bringing this through with Kickstarter? You guys are going to be putting it through that. Like, what's that process been like when it comes to like writing and creating the comic? Like, what are you guys looking forward to bringing the comic to life through this?
Well, we're going to come out through Image later in the year as a floppy, but we're trying to like basically, hey, if you like Chew, get in on the ground floor of this, and you're helping us finance this to give us a long life.
Mhm.
So we're not like basically sweating by issue 3. And so we're trying to give you like a really, if you like Chew, this will probably be rarer than issue 1, and it's going to be this really cool collectible. We're calling it the Bruiser edition, and it's black and blue and white, but it's basically it's going to look different and feel different from the from the full colored floppy when it eventually comes out.
Yeah, yeah, that's really the goal is just create something that is completely unique, kind of an artifact. I'm a sucker for like really well made kind of, I'm the guy who goes to conventions and finds my favorite artist to find whatever limited sketchbook he's selling and that sort of thing. And usually if I'm backing a Kickstarter, that's what I'm getting. So that's really what I want to offer here is like just something that is completely unique, that's going to be completely standalone from the direct market version. So in this case, it'll be like John said, black, white, and blue. But also, I think we're talking about soft cover, hardcover versions, but also throwing in the script, throwing in tons of concept art, and maybe some peeks of future issues. I mean, it's going to be a pretty sweet presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a lot of sorry to interrupt. A lot of Kickstarters like, oh, we're putting it out, and then 6 months later you're going to get the exact same thing, with a different cover for cheaper in the direct market. We're not doing that. Like this is your chance to get this one and a half, one time rarity, and you're helping creators that hopefully you like, get this book off the ground that we can put out for years and years.
yeah, I really like that strategy for several reasons, and I'll say a couple of them here. Is because you guys probably know, like in the last 2 3 months, there's been a couple of indie books that have just flown off the shelves, and
Mhm.
anybody that was like a casual reader that was like, oh, I want to pick this up because I've heard some hype about it, or the story or the cover looks really cool. They're just gone, and people are reselling them for crazy high margins because they're like, yeah, like we know this book is big, or like it's rumored to become a TV show or something, and so people that are like, oh, I've casually seeing it, like I want to pick that up, like the people that will actually want to read it for the story, they kind of miss out, and it's kind of tougher to say, oh yeah, like sure, I'll wait, however long for the reprint. So the people that actually want to get those collectibles, you guys are giving them a path forward. The people that are actually going to be fans of it and get something cool that are getting it, and then people that are they're maybe more of a casual reader, like, oh, I heard something about this, but I couldn't do the Kickstarter. They'll have more of that opportunity when it comes out. And to your guys' point, which I think is like the genius probably behind it, is sometimes people need 1 to 3 issues or so to be like, man, this is such a good book. And if the first one's sold out right away, they're like, "Ah, it's tougher for me to get into it."
Mhm.
But and you guys are funded to write more than however many issues it is. You don't have to worry about ending it early or wrapping something up, and
Yep.
you don't have to worry about like that financial strain to be like, oh, we gotta change something because we gotta wrap this run up. Like you're putting yourself in a good uh, safety safety net to say like we can kind of do whatever we want with this comic. And I think that's really smart on your guys' part, but it also is like showing your commitment to the story and to the fans to say we want to give you something that you're genuinely gonna love and enjoy and have a good time reading.
Yeah, and hopefully, we get the Chew fans on the ground floor, and then we launch with already a degree of awareness that maybe the number one that comes out of nowhere, you know, doesn't get. People,
Mhm.
hopefully we got 6 months with the Kickstarter to build hype for the ongoing regular edition when it comes out.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, we hit that with even with Chew number one. I mean, it took so long to get any to get enough copies out to get in people's hands. Because I think the first run, the first printing of issue 1 was so small because no one knew what it was, and no one knew it would be, I guess, as good as it was. So it took us a while to like kind of get that number to get everyone getting one in everyone's hand.
Yeah, I mean, and now people know you from Chew, and Chew has like that fan base. So now it's like, hey guys, if you're a part of that fan base and if you love it, like this is that opportunity to get something that's really special, and you're helping out not only the creators for it, but you're guaranteeing the story is going to run longer, and there's going to be more people that are going to have access to it. So it's really just a win-win overall. So
yeah, it's also it's not a money grab. It's we're taking this money and financing future issues. Like the higher this goes, the more issues we guarantee. So it's win-win, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's cool is also like, I mean, the direct market and the Kickstarter market are like very different in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of crossover, but they kind of, both audiences tend to look for very specific things from what I've seen. Like I said, I think Kickstarter tends to be a lot of folks looking for the very unique, sketched, signed version of a thing that you can't find anywhere else. In the direct market, I think there's definitely a market for that too, but it tends to be more the floppies and the variant covers of the floppies and that sort of thing. So I think what's cool about this is that I think it gives us an opportunity to kind of kill two birds with one stone, and give both audiences a really cool thing without detracting from the direct market edition that'll hit in the fall. So it's two different things, but killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, because I think, whenever I go into a shop, I want to kind of like, I want that sense of discovery of like, I'm finding something. And when it's a floppy and you're like, oh, this is on the shelf next to some other image book, let me check it out. Versus like, I'm going to go online, I'm going to specifically search for my favorite book or my favorite latest finds. Like, is there something else out there? Did these guys do anything else I can dive into? So, you guys might also see like a new audience also find Chew for the first time, which would also be pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a we have a TV deal in the works, and we keep waiting for it to be announced, and that would also help bring in the audience. And hopefully before the Kickstarter starts, we get this goes public and builds even more hype.
Yeah, which by the way,
there is an audience that look, this is going to be a TV show. I'm gonna buy this comic book that I wouldn't buy normally.
Exactly, yeah. And like if you see something on TV, like I can think of several shows on Amazon where someone's like, "Oh, that's also a comic. Let me go read the comic. Oh, it's different. Well, now I gotta watch the TV show and read the comic to see which one I like more."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when is the Kickstarter gonna start? Like, how can people find the Kickstarter? How can they get involved and show that they love your guys' work and Chew and get excited for Ghost Brawler?
Rob, you want to take this?
May 19th. May 19th is everything goes live. The pre-launch should be going live pretty soon. Right now, we're pretty busy putting together stuff together for it. Right now, I'm doing a bunch of covers, and I think we're going to debut with a few pages of the interior sequential art as well, with a bunch of fun little extra things that I'm doing now. So that's May 19th, and we'll kind of be teasing it online until then.
Yeah, we've got I've got the first arc written, the first 5 issues, and so we're gonna try to give you this is basically a very cool collectible teaser trailer for the entire arc. It's not just the first issue; it's gonna be bigger than that.
Nice. And where can people stay in touch with you guys online? And, let you guys know how excited they are for the Kickstarter and the eventual floppy release of Ghost Brawler.
Well, I'm on Blue Sky, and that's all I'm on. I'm not. I kind of withdrew from social media a few years ago, and you can still find me there, but I'm not like super active. I'll probably be more active than I've been in ages. When the Kickstarter starts.
And I'm at robguillory.com, and I'm on Instagram at rob_Guillory, YouTube at Rob Guillory Art, and Facebook at Rob Guillory Art, and Patreon at Rob Guillory Art. So I'm in a few places.
Google your name and you're everywhere.
Yes, just look up my name, it all comes up.
Yeah, but hey, you got to plug the Patreon for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on. I'm excited for Ghost Brawler when it comes out. It sounds like it's going to be a fun, exciting book. And, of course, got to go back and read some Chew to get hyped for this book as well, too. So May 19th, we'll be looking forward to that Kickstarter and seeing how we can get involved. And also one of those floppies at the store. That'll also be an exciting time. So thank you guys so much for coming on. And with that...
Yeah, appreciate it, Troy.
Thank you, man.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah,
no problem. And with that, Badaboom.
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 Thank you for listening to the Badaboom podcast. Keep the conversation going on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Get in the comments on our YouTube channel and let us know what you'd like to hear next. And please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen.